Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we're going to be talking about an interesting article that just came out yesterday at time of recording this that shed some light on stuff that I have not thought about in a really long time. And I just thought it was really interesting when I was reading through the article, the effects that things can have on people and you don't even realize it. And so what I'm talking about is this article right here, and it's from People, and it goes on to say, Gwyneth Paltrow's Shallow Hal body double nearly starved to death after the film developed eating disorders. Now, if you're not familiar with the movie Shallow Hal, it's been a long time since I've seen it, so I might butcher this a little bit, but basically it was about this guy that he ended up like seeing Gwyneth Paltrow's character as this like really beautiful woman that was like, thin and looked like Gwyneth Paltrow from 20 years ago or more, right? And in reality, she was actually like really overweight, and everyone else, I'm pretty sure in the movie, saw her as what she was, but for some reason Hal couldn't see her for that or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but it was something about along the lines of that. But the biggest thing, one of the biggest controversies was that Gwyneth Paltrow was wearing a fat suit, and a lot of the jokes were about her being fat, stuff like that, right? And so there was a little bit of controversy when the movie came out, but I feel like since it's been out, there's only been more and more controversy and people saying like, hey, maybe this wasn't the best thing. We're not going to be talking about that. Regardless of how you might feel about that, that's fine. That's your opinion. But this is about a woman who played the body double, which I didn't even think. But again, I didn't see the movie. I saw the movie when I was much, much younger. Honestly, I'm going to be honest. I don't even know if I've actually seen the whole movie. I think I have. I'm pretty sure I have. But it was probably a very, very long time ago. I haven't seen it recently, right? But this article goes on to talk about this person's the issues that they had from there. And so I just thought it was interesting. So let's just go ahead and read it. So there's a video here, but it's basically just like a video of the article, and it just has music under it. So we're not going to play it, but we're just going to read this article. The woman cast as Gwyneth Paltrow's body double in Shallow Hal says the experience resulted in her developing an eating disorder. Ivy Snitzer was a 20-year-old, like so young, right? Literally just a kid. 20-year-old aspiring actress when she landed the job in the 2001 movie, while Paltrow donned a bodysuit and prosthetics to portray lead character Rosemary, an overweight woman who captures the attention of a man who's been hypnotized into seeing only a person's inner beauty. Snitzer, now 42, filmed full and up-close body shots in Paltrow's stead? I don't know. In a new interview with The Guardian, Snitzer said that she felt really comfortable shooting the film and was treated like I mattered by the cast and crew on set, that's good. It's nice that it wasn't just like they just kind of used her and they were like, all right, let's do this. Bam, bam, bam. Get out of here. Right. So that is good, I think, personally. Later she struggled with severe body image issues. 2 years after Shallow Hal debuted in theaters, she was technically starving to death, she said. I don't know exactly what the extent of the diet that she was on, the things that she was doing. So I don't know exactly what she was going through there. Snitzer shared that she wasn't prepared for the exposure and scrutiny the movie brought her. It didn't occur to me that the film would be seen by millions of people, she told the outlet. It was like the worst parts about being fat were magnified. Snitzer recalled people having people approach her on the street, accusing her of promoting obesity for saying in a promotional interview for the movie, it was not the worst thing in the world to be fat. Like that, it's crazy because, right, so this was like early 2000s, right? So 2001, I think it was when they said the movie came out. So, she was probably doing these interviews around 2000, 2001. And it's funny because this is the stuff you still hear when people are like, oh, I just care about overweight people. But then they're also like anyone that's overweight that's on social media, right? Which is like this version of press tours, basically, right? They'll be like, you're promoting obesity by just existing in an overweight body. I get frustrated with the people that like the only way that they will ever accept seeing a fat person on their timeline is if they are very clearly actively trying to lose weight. I just feel like that's wrong. It's like the only time you're allowed, this is how it seems like some people feel. The only time they are okay with seeing a fat person is if it is very clear that in the video, in the post, in whatever media they came across, if it is very clear that the person is trying to lose weight and that's what the post's about. Because if it's anything different, they will get upset. It could even be someone that is like their whole account is based on weight loss. And I've seen this recently where their account is based on weight loss and they're trying to lose weight, but they might make something that isn't about weight loss. It's a post about something else. And they will get attacked and people are like, you need to focus on your weight loss. This is why it's not working. It's like, dude, just because someone is trying to lose weight, that doesn't mean that it has to be every single ounce in identity and everything about them. They can want to do other things and still like lose weight. It doesn't have to be either all or nothing. It's so frustrating, but I digress. So I got really scared, she told The Guardian. I was like, maybe I'm done with the concept of fame. Maybe I don't want to be an actor. Maybe I'll do something else. And so I'm pretty sure, this is Gwyneth Paltrow here in the movie. And then this is her right here, it's funny because one, if you look at like Gwyneth Paltrow in the movie in the fat suit was quite a bit larger than she was at the time. I don't know if, this was, I'm assuming because I'm looking at this picture, it looks like this was definitely the premiere or something, because it's like, if you look at this poster right here, it says Gwyneth Paltrow, Jack Black, who was the other main star in the movie. So it's clear that this was some sort of press thing for the movie, right? So this is the size that she was when she filmed the movie. And so it's clear that the fat suit that they wore was much larger than she was. Because like if you looked at this one, I mean, I think she looks beautiful, but she's like, she's overweight, but it's not like this overweight, right? There's two very different people right there. But the unwanted negative attention shifted Snisser's perception of herself and led her to change her diet. I hated my body and the way I was supposed. I hated my body the way I was supposed to. She said, I ate a lot of salads. I had eating disorders that I was very proud of, especially like back then, man. Like, dude, it's crazy. Like I was talking to my girlfriend recently and she was talking about how like in the early 2000s and the early like 10s as well, how crazy it was about like, I think like Britney Spears had gone on stage one time and she was literally like not overweight even slightly, right? But she just wasn't pencil thin. And there was tons of articles saying like Britney Spears has lost it, right? She's gaining weight out of control. And it's like, dude, and I looked at the pictures and I was like, she looks good, like really good in this picture. Like it was just crazy at the time, right? I do think like, honestly, where we are now compared to where we were then, it has gotten better. It's not perfect by any means, but it absolutely has gotten better. And that's why I think it's important to talk about this stuff, because we don't want to go back to that. And I know there have been like people talking on like TikTok and other social medias of how like a lot of the styles and like a lot of the trends from around that time are starting to get a little bit more popular now, right? Like the low-rise jeans and all that stuff. And people are like, please, can we not do that, right? Because of how many issues it caused for a lot of people that were young teens around that time, right? Obviously, I was a dude and I was overweight, and it just was what it was. I don't feel like I had as much pressure on myself as like probably young women did at the time. But again, that was just my own thing. But it goes on to say in 2003, she underwent gastric band surgery. So it sounds like a kind of like a lap band. And it's funny because, around this time was when that was kind of popular. And I've talked about this before, but I myself almost got the lap band when I was in 10th grade. Yeah, 10th grade. So this was 2000. I graduated 2010. So 2006, 7? I went into it was at UCSD. I live in San Diego, right? It was a UCSD, and they were doing a trial for kids, basically under 18, to get the lap band to see how it would affect them and how it would work. And the reason we were thinking about doing it is because we were very poor, and so I couldn't afford any sort of actual surgery. And so being part of this trial, you would have gotten it paid for. I ended up not doing it, thankfully. But one of the things that happened, which is what she talks about here, is like it would slip. There was a lot of issues that would be caused by the band. So I'm glad that I didn't. But so in 2003, she underwent gastric band surgery, which shrunk the size of her stomach and reduced the amount of food she could eat to speed up her weight loss. She also resorted to over-exercising, purging, and restricting her calorie intake. It didn't occur to me that I was supposed to be ashamed of these behaviors, she said. Yeah, I mean, for quite a while there, it was seen like the faster you lost the weight, like losing weight was only seen basically as good. There was no negatives that could be associated with it. And I think now it's not perfect. Like there's definitely still some dark sides to weight loss and stuff. But I do think that as a society, we're a little bit more tuned into losing weight isn't always a good thing, especially if you don't know how someone is doing it. And that's why I think it's so important to always try and talk about, healthier ways to lose weight. Because I don't reading this article, I do feel a little bit of a slant towards like losing weight is bad, and people are terrible for it does feel like that, and I understand where people are coming from there, but also I do think that you can lose weight in a healthy way, and it doesn't have to be disordered like this. But just because I think that doesn't mean that I don't think that this disordered type of losing weight is still out there and still prevalent, because it absolutely is. And I do think there's a problem with that being promoted so much, right? And so I'm glad that articles like this are out there. I just hope that people don't see that and they're like, see, losing weight is bad and it's impossible and there's no way to lose weight with it being healthy, because everyone that loses weight ends up being super unhealthy, right? So, but in 2003, so purging and restricting, her health worsened even more when she experienced a serious complication after the gastric band slipped. I got a torsion like dogs get, and they die, she explained, And so this was them on set right here. So that's her actually, not Gwyneth Paltrow. She said she had a difficult time keeping food down and subsisted on sports drinks and watered down nutritional shakes. I was so thin you could see my teeth through my face and my skin was all gray. She noted, adding that her mood also was impacted. I was just so bitchy all the time. I kind of alienated a lot of my friends. My mother was also dying. It was bleak. Humans shouldn't have to experience how very bleak that particular time in my life was. She recalled being shocked to discover that even in her malnourished state, people were suddenly kinder and more solicitous. I think solicitous. I don't know that word. To her, everything was so different, she said, explaining that people smiled at her, moved out of her way, and even paid for her coffee. It was really nice to be treated well. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that's too bad. And I think I would be remiss to say, like, oh, if you're overweight or like morbidly obese, you're treated the same. No, it's there are so many people that have lost weight that have talked about the fact that they are treated differently after they lose the weight. And that just is a fact. It's not a good fact, but it just is a fact, right? At the time of its release, Shallow Hal was widely criticized for its depiction of plus-size women. Sally E. Smith, editor of the now defunct BBW magazine, told Entertainment Weekly, BBW man, I like that, that the film reinforced every stereotype about fat people. Plus size women don't break chairs all the time, and we aren't compulsively eating. There are many reasons why people are larger than average, and food consumption isn't a major reason, Smith said in 2001. I don't know about this. I think that food consumption definitely plays quite a big role, but there's also, I think there's a lot that goes into why someone might be eating more, and I think that's important to say. Just saying that like food consumption isn't a big deal, I would disagree with. But when I saw this article, I thought that it was interesting. Shallow Hal is one of those things that like it's so many people remember it, and I don't know, it makes me kind of want to go like rewatch the the movie just to see if I remember it correctly or if I ever freaking actually saw the movie. But there's also this article from People. We're not going to read it, but I thought it was interesting because they actually have a picture of 2019 where, just so you guys could see what she kind of looks like now. So that's her now, I'm pretty sure. And so I just thought that was interesting. But I just wanted to share that. I'm kind of curious what you guys think. I thought it was an interesting article. It you know, speaks to a lot of the stuff that I think I talk about on this channel quite a bit. But let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.